Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show. Hi, happy Friday. How'd you enjoy the first chapter of the January 6th committee meeting? It was you did just arrive in time. Dazzle Foo. I just missed that. Hold on, it went by. Dazzler Foo. You did. You were just in time. Yay! Everybody's here for the morning show. Everybody's here for the morning show. Everybody's here for the morning show. And away we go. There's so much from last night, I guess, to talk about. What is a hype train? I still don't understand, says Scott, new to Twitch. It is when there is where the people who are watching, especially the people in the chat, not the lurkers. I see you. I smell you as well. The lurkers are sitting in the back, hands off the keyboard. But the people in the chat are using emojis. They're giving bits because they like what I'm doing, or they're glad I'm here, or they want to support the show, and they subscribe and do all those kind of things. And it creates kind of a incentive, I guess, within Twitch. Just does this. They made the thing up, but it works, and people get excited, and they want to see it happen. So they donate bits to the channel, and it stacks it up, and you have like OCD. OCD? Are you going to buy OCD or OCD? Because OCD. Oh, Sadie, I love. Hold on. Gifted subs, for example, which will give us a nice boost in the hype train. It's a solid one. Can I? Jesus Christ! What in the hell? What? Okay, get out of here. I keep the other day, because I was looking for video of a particular MTG thing. I use Telegram. I lurk Telegram to let me open this up. I lurk Telegram. I have a Bumble account on there. No, Bumble's a thing. I have a Ghost account, a Stumble account on these things, because interestingly enough, on Telegram, as odd as it is, see if I can bring this in without, this business. Hi, you can see the chat. Hi guys. If you look on here, like on her channel, for example, I'm trying to move this down so you can see more of the chat. Their videos, they all come with this thing. You can download anything they post on there and keep it. What a bunch of morons. I don't know if they have, there's no way they think this is a feature, not a bug, for the stuff that they do. Because, we've seen multiple times where people like pull back videos they posted at some point, or just simply shut them down. This, you can't do it. If you load that stuff or send it to Telegram as well, to your Telegram channel, you can download any of it. So, as it stands, like I had that, I was grabbing some of MTG's. She boosts shorter clips on there. Hi everybody, good morning. Let me drag this over so it's a little more uniform and pretty. So yeah, she was posting little shorter clips of one of her bigger podcast things. And again, you guys know I love to do stuff long form, but I don't want to do somebody's entire show because it's a waste of time. And so when they have somebody on their staff pull a clip, there's a little, I feel a tiny tinge of guilt. I shouldn't, but this is just my own thing, where I'm reacting to a piece that a third party that works for them, so a second party, felt was their argument and posted it with their okay. Obviously, somebody, there's still work there. The clip is still up, so there you go. I love this place too, Helene. So the difference specifically in MTG and all these idiots and Gates and stuff posting their stuff on Telegram is they're the ones posting their clips. They grab a little piece of that and off you go. And so I don't have to worry at all about these morons. I don't feel guilty about that part at all. Hi, everybody. Hello, all. Hello, happy Friday. Hello, Money Martell. Wonderful place here. Agreed. Yes, and Mida Sue, thanks so much. And you know what? I was so excited yesterday when I was able to send a raid on Twitch over to the Midas Touch guys because they were actually live. That was so great. Because here's the thing, they pre-record their stuff. It's like a podcast that they post later. So they edit it and they put in their ads and that kind of stuff. And this is pretty normal out in the world. But, last night in particular, because it was these, the hearings, the committee meeting, it was really a display of findings, I would say. Hi, Auntie Sarah. Oh my God, it's HAL SPARKS. You bet it is. It was really cool that they were actually on live and I could actually send our chat over to them for a Sparks raid. Is this the pre-show? Yes, this is the pre-show. Has HAL Sparks stopped reading the Twitch chat? Yes, I have. That was from the Twitch chat for those who aren't playing along. Boosting algorithms since 99. That's right. I'll tell you what, when it comes to Twitch, one of the clear ways to get a lot more coverage and get yourself boosted up into the higher tiers of shows, besides tiers, I suppose, is yes, there's a Twitch chat. Yeah, I think so, Randy. I'm not sure. Is to put your chat on screen and allow for psychos to type whatever they want while you're chit-chatting away and playing video games. Mighty in the chat. That's right. It's not all true how MT has a live show every week. MT has a live show. Not sure what you're talking about. They have offshoot shows, but their primary Monday show that they do specifically, which is the one it's time when I'm on, I guess I should clarify. They don't have the show that comes on after me that's on Mondays, that comes on right about the time I'm finishing my show, is pre-recorded. They do other live shows, just never when I could pass the show off to them. If that makes sense. To clarify, that's what I'm talking about. They pre-record the stuff that I could raid time-wise when I'm on versus when they're on. Because I try not to overlap with people that I like. Most people would counter program just against the people that they want to steal audience from or something. Not I. I either stand on my merits or I do not. And if it takes longer, it takes longer. That's what I'm saying. Twitch show notifications take 5 to 15 minutes late. I should probably do I used to have a social media button on my Stream Deck that would send out messages. I had to reprogram the thing. Arpin, Wisconsin, right on. Hi. Psycho Dad. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Good morning / afternoon, Kinky Streets. Thank you. I'm trying, Andrew. We're making the world a better place. That's what we do. We're all in this together. It's exactly right. Thanks, Ethan. I try. It is believe me, it's not a rewarded characteristic on a business level at all. I'm struck by, and having been around the whole conversation about Hollywood and what Hollywood's like and things are Hollywood and what Hollywood means, and even using Hollywood as a punchline myself in a movie I did for my dearly departed friend Robert Hall, Hollywood. There's all these assumptions that LA is fake and cutthroat and everybody's trying to elbow each other out of the way, and I'm sure there's a certain amount of that. It's not as much as you think because you don't know who you might be a co-star with at some point, and so you can't afford to burn a bridge that you might have to cross that's in front of you. That's a lot, there are areas where people will burn bridges they have not yet crossed themselves. That's always the fear, right? And so I have made some of the best friends I've ever had in Los Angeles. Truest, most complete friendships I have on a on a bunch of fronts. That's true. Deep and abiding friendships. And, compare that to just any other city. There are people like that to be found for sure. But the idea is groom of the name of Disney's eighth dwarf. No. That's he's the congressional representative from Florida 14, I think. They arrested him. He was playing a dwarf at Disney World, but he got busted on violating the terms of his release. So, yeah, LA, born and raised, plenty of cool natives. Yes, I agree, Kelly. And the business itself gets a bad rap because because the success is so hierarchical and so narrow, and yet to some degree seems so random because who succeeds versus somebody else. And there's also a lot of super talented people with a lack of confidence or addictions or other problems that keep their talent from rising to the top. And a lot of people that are just like moderate talents, but nothing is in the way of them expressing that talent in their own personality. They never get in their own way, which is, 80% of the problem most of the time in art, I think. And I will say 80% of the problems that you have control over. There are other problems that no one has control over, but everybody faces those equally. Projects coming and going, being qualified or right for the part, those things you can't control. But all the stuff you can control, those things are all, most of the problem is yours. Like the 20% would be like wearing lifts, getting your boobs done, a toupee, whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's something that you can control, but it's a weird point of control. 80% of it is getting up and finding your optimism again and attacking your art in spite of the slog that it is, that it's going to be, right? Yeah, Ethan, we'll talk about that in 1 second. I agree. Trump is probably done. This is true. This is going to have the effect that Democrats hope for the midterms as well, as far as the moderates. And by focusing on Trump and then spreading to the congressional people, that's where it's going to go. And it's interesting that the idea about LA being fake and a big like Illuminati system that nobody can break into has moved on really to DC. If you listen to the mythology about interpersonal relationships in Washington, D.C., it sounds a lot like the mythology about them in people's conversation about L.A. And I had a bunch of people, when I was doing like open mics in the 90s and just trying to slog through doing stand-up and acting, trying to, just get a toehold, who were constantly talking about how like tough it was and how hard it was and how tough it was, and that somebody must be stopping them from doing it. And I was like, do you have any idea how many moving parts are involved in all of this stuff? It's absurd to ever say it. Like, I never understood the idea. Did Fox comment on the hearings? Yes, they did. They pre-commented, which is very much them. I fear the pocket pardon. Not going to happen. Don't fear the pocket pardon. Don't fear the pocket pardon. There were a bunch of people who were saying it was like really hard, and I believed it should be. But when it came to the conversation about how do you deal with the rejection? You always hear that, and that one always boggled my mind. And this is sort of the joy of having a bulletproof ego. But I never took any job I didn't get or any situation, even if it was because I wasn't good enough for the part, as a rejection. Because you can't reject me. You're looking for something specific. It's your show. It's your movie, your play, your stand-up review. It's your TV show. It's your series. I don't care. You're not rejecting me. You're trying to find that person. And I can either be that person or I can't be that person. There's a lot of moving parts that get me to the area where I can even be close to being that person. And then there are a few other people in that category as well that are good enough to make it up there, and you'll make a decision from those people. But it's not a personal attack on me or my talent. And again, I know a bunch of people who got projects and they're like, I was so close on this thing, and then I never heard back. And you're like, look at the trades, dummy. It went away. 6 months to a year, you're kicking your own ass because you didn't get some part that you thought you were perfect for. And you didn't even bother to look to the fact that the funding got cut. The movie never got made. And I was always aware of very acutely back in the day of the fact that the studio wants the idea of discovering somebody, because new, fresh is always good. It's easier to sell that, and cheaper. That's your perfect combination for bringing newbies in, raising them up as far as you can, and then just hands off. Is because of the practical nature of new, fresh product that everybody wants their eyeballs on, untested, and exciting. What are they all about? Is this the new it girl? Is this the new it guy? And then they're cheap at that point. Then the it person becomes a hit person, and then you have to pay them, and then And it's at the same time that the audience, their fan base, may or may not build or give up on them. There's so much other stuff. Yeah, the Star Wars formula in a nutshell. No kidding, Flang Doodle. Holy smokes. How are you going to read the plot against King Donald to your son as a bedtime story? Well, he's 11 now. So, I read him, calculus textbooks to knock him out. Your specific outlet is what made you a great Davenport. It's true, Monty, because I've often said that the only difference between me and Donald Davenport is I actually have an ego that big. When I was Davenport, I was pretending. I was playing a character, but I have it for real in a lot of ways. Think Biden would be pleased to say, will you shut up and get in your cell, man? Yeah, yes. Get in your cell, man. It's one of the reasons why it's annoying to we'll talk about the news and the trends today, because a lot of it, will be part of our morning trends as well when we look at those. But I just want to check in with you guys as people settle in. You're watching the Hal Sparks Morning Show, Mega Worldwide. It's Hal Sparks Mornings, Mega Worldwide. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. If you're on Twitch and you have Amazon Prime in your life, you can subscribe and it doesn't cost you a dime. Patreon.com/HalSparks at any tier, any support. And then, of course, there's a Venmo. And then you can support via just simply subscribing on YouTube, simply following on Facebook or Twitch. And it's a great start. Hey, thanks, Melissa. I cannot wait to get down to Australia eventually. It's exciting to me. Fringe Festival, that's what I'm hoping for. It's in some cycle. It just can't overlap with stuff my kid does. Sorry. You know how many comedy festivals I've missed out on? The last one I went to was the year of my kid's birth, because I was literally like, he won't remember I'm gone because he's months old. So I can go for 3 weeks and come back. And I even cut that short. That was, by the way, I was talking to my mom yesterday, and that was the year that my grandmother died. My grandmother Seiler, who's she's the grandparent that technically the only one, specifically, that encouraged me to do comedy because I made her laugh so hard. And so the year she died, on stage when I would do stand-up, I wore black. Black jeans, black t-shirt for over a year actually, because I kept doing it for a while until it felt right. It wasn't just like, okay, starting today, 24, like 24/7 for 365, and then we'll stop. It was specific to mourning that, that part of my life. Yeah, my grandmother, just her laughing, and she literally was the only one, because my mom's very supportive. My dad's what I would call quasi-business-like supportive, which is what dads are supposed to be like. He was like, wear a parachute. If you're jumping out of a plane, wear a parachute. It's a reasonable thing for him to concern, And Yeah, and Carol Burnett, like, yes, and I could make her laugh really hard, and she was the only one who said, "You should do this. You're funny." And should versus can do anything, which parents do all the time. You can do anything. Is would you do another comedy special? I will. Venice said, I will absolutely. But how don't you think the book is a must read? Trump wants it in all the schools. Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. Only if it comes in a pop-up book that squirts. So she had, she specifically encouraged me. So I wore black, and so I did that. I did the Edinburgh Fringe Festival that year, and I wore that clothing name. My grandma's maiden name is Sparks. Oh, that's awesome. Well, then clearly they should hop on 23andMe. Well, maybe we're related. That might, that I got, you wait for your reviews. You do your show and then they review it, and the reviews are how you make your way over there. It's so weird. And one of the reviews was like, great, glowing review, but he tries to be so edgy by wearing all black. And it had nothing to do with my act. It had, and especially since most of the shows you do are in black box theaters, like it's not that. And it wasn't like I was wearing a shirt that said, "Darkness is my home," or I had goth makeup on, which is probably the next special. I was just wearing a black T-shirt and black jeans with and I pretty much always wear like black high tops. And that was it. Am I related to Nicholas Sparks? Technically, but not artistically. Although I did cry at the end of The Notebook. I have to be honest. Yeah, no black cape though. Right. And it was just like, I remember reading it and going, I guess it was a good lesson too. Cause it's a great lesson in intention versus what the audience takes away. Hello, darkness. How's old friend? Hold on. I'm getting an early morning text from Caleb. Oh, he's sending Nerd Halen pictures. That's really cool. They've been affected by someone. That's awesome. Thanks, Caleb. And Hal Sparks is such a cool name. When I first heard it, I thought it was a stage name. Yeah, Katie, it's funny because Hal Sparks to me, this is my real name and I've had it my whole life, sounds like an old comedian from the 30s. And it sounds like an old man's name a little bit. There's a window where it sounds like a man my age, but it sounds largely like, gray-haired, wrinkly old man, ladies and gentlemen with a top hat, right? And I look forward to that. That's kind of nice. It sounds so steampunk. It does a bit. You're right. Love the Nerd Halen post on Twitter. Thanks. Hal Sparks, or a meteorologist. Totally. I could also do the weather. Hal Sparks with the weather. When I first, okay. So I went to Hal Sparks, also sounds like a superhero. Yeah, like it might be. Your dad's name was Hal, so you always like that name. Nice, Carrie. Well, I've always liked the name Carrie. That's, a magician, right? Old NASCAR driver. It's a good one. Yeah. It's pretty, maybe that's the issue for a lot of people, is that it sounds like it could be anything. It's very vaudeville sounding. I agree. It's a name that ages well. It's true. It's like having Mabel. When you're a kid, it's weird. But when you grow up, you're like, oh, that's lovely. Way to think ahead. Oh, is he sending more? Or is that just my phone telling me twice that he's sending the pictures? Oh. Oh, somebody like cartoonized them. That's cool. Okay. On my watch, I can't tell. And Hal Ketchum, right? Hal Holbrook. And then there was a period starting in the early 90s, right as I was starting my career, where Hal was used as a pejorative name, as the befuddled, stupid husband, father, like the example of a weak man. And I was like, thanks very much. I appreciate that. You couldn't just grab a Tom or a Mike or a John or a Jack. They're laying around all over the place. No, it's always and even like Woody Allen did it in was it Blue Jasmine? I think yeah, he used like her dopey husband's name was Hal. Shallow Hal came out. That kind of stuff. Thank you, Earl. Yeah. Is a Mountain Dew Spark? Oh, I know. Hal Sparks, 8th grade science teacher. That's true. That works as well. Hal is also short for Harold. It's also short. It means prince in Old English. It was a halberd was like a prince's sword. Is the idea, and that Henry was Prince Hal. His princely name was Hal. Anyways, I was named after the computer in 2001, so I sidestep all that. But like the idea that wearing a black t-shirt and black jeans on stage made this woman who was reviewing my show give me basically like half a star off. Because like she gave me like 3.5 out of 4 stars because I was trying to appear edgy just by wearing black clothes when it was because my grandmother had died. Al makes a great teacher. Oh, thanks. Yes, Lolima. I mean, in many ways, that is my career, and I do come from a family of teachers. My grandfather was president of Murray State University, and my grandmother was the librarian, and my aunt taught math, and my uncle teaches English and grammar, and my dad's the black sheep of his side of the family because he's an architect. What a maniac! Who does that? Hal needs a comedy roast. It's not a bad idea. Although, I have the same problem, I think, that Norm Macdonald has, that I would just feel terrible roasting a person. If I cared about them enough to show up at their roast, I would care enough not to say something about them that was that awful for those stupid things. And the interesting things about like the Jeff Ross's roasts versus like the old Dean Martin ones is that they're like minor attempts at petty evil as opposed to charming put downs and zingers that are just shy of the line. The whole point of the Jeff Ross ones is to just stay on the line and spike over it, and it gets, I find, tiresome after a while. They're not really roasts. That's the difference between a roast and just lining someone up and doing like an insult firing line. How have I ever been to Sparks, Nevada? I hope to move the show there once we grow a little bit more and take over the town. But I've driven through it and like waved in front of the sign. I took a picture on our way to Tahoe at one point. I did a show up there with Richard Hunter, and we drove up there and like I think it's like San Francisco gig, and then drove out to Tahoe or whatever, and then we drove over to Sparks, Nevada, just so I could wave in front of the sign. That kind of stuff. There's also a Sparks Street in Burbank, and I'm waiting for the market to crash to buy a house on it. You live in Sparks, Nevada? Right on, Durgis. Well, I hope the town is treating you well and the name lives up to its quality. Correction, Dave Attell. Oh, you were correcting something you said, I see. Spent many a layover there. Sparks, Nevada's cost is only $666. That's what rent is, right? Yeah, how the peace officers. I wouldn't mind being the sheriff. We got a couple of rules up here on the rock. Carry around 1 bullet, never put it in the gun. It's lovely. Sparks, Nevada is where they have Burning Man. It is? What's funny? Like, I always pictured it in the middle of the California desert for some reason because it's so hippie-esque. Don't get involved in the proud oathers. Don't involve proud oathers in takeovers. It's a wise thing, I think. Sparks, Cool Places is a good tune. Yeah, believe me, I've always had a chip on my shoulder about the band Sparks. I wish them all the success, but they kind of, when I was a high schooler putting a band together, I was like, "Ow!" And HAL's a really HAL Sparks. It's the reason why I have a Chinese name. Um, uh, can I imitate Jeff Goldblum? Yeah, it was good. Sure. Sometimes better than that. I'm just off the cuff. Now I'm going to be stuck in it uh, all day. Um. Uh. 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 Yeah. Jeff Sparks. That's good. Apartments.com. Yeah. I'm gold blooming. It's happening. Never. It's too early to gold bloom. You can't. If we let's see, if we use fetuses to guard DC, will Trump cult peacefully attack and kill them? All for freedom. Yes, we should. We should put only like pregnant women should be hired in Capitol for the Capitol police in reserve and only called up when right wingers attack. Of course, that would only work once because we would all find out that they're bullshitting about their whole pro-life thing. They don't really care. Not the ones that would go to the rally. I mean, sure, there are genuine pro-lifers out there who genuinely are like grinding every day about unborn children. None of them are the ones affecting policy, though, for the record. They vote, but they're not, the ones that run for office using that are using it in a Machiavellian way. I don't believe it. Anyways, you were busy asking whether you could, or stop never asked whether, yeah. I'll tell you what, scientists were so busy asking whether they could, they never stopped asking whether they should. Al Sparks is a perfect name for a plaintiff. It worked out when I was a plaintiff. Actually, no. Technically speaking, yeah, I was the defendant. It worked out. But having a last name like Sparks does tend to make things stretch out a little bit. Gas is down 10 cents in Dallas. There you go. By the way, so like I mentioned, within the next 6 months, oil's coming down to like $70 a barrel. That's the, and that'll be with price pressure controls. They're going to try to bring that plane in as slow as possible. So it's going to herk and jerk up and down. And they're, of course, going to try to bleed everybody out over the summer. But as soon as the fall comes around, yes, you should drink less gas. I was naked once. Just once. You're a never nude? 8.6 inflation. Yep, down 0.2% from the month before. And based on year over year. Right. When we still hadn't gotten out of Delta. Actually, where we're headed into Delta, we'd spiked. 2020. We'd started, yeah. So this is, watch the, part of it going down 0.2% year over year is because it started to come up a little bit, and so it'll squeeze the number. And then what'll happen is inflation, because it's a number based on year over year, will crater comparatively, especially when you get to where it was high. The year over year will just be, and you'll start hearing them talk about CPI and PPI again. Your body's not fit for public consumption. One of my only, I have like 3 primary motivations for working out. One is that if anything heavy falls on someone, I want to be useful in lifting it off them. Since I have a kid, if there's a problem, I want to be able to pick my kid up no matter what he weighs and run a long way before I have to put him down and take a break. And if there's any kind of mass awfulness around me, you bet your ass that's what I'm going to do. We're going to be in the next county by the time he blinks 3 times. And then on top of that, I would never, I still would like my love life to be pleasant for my girlfriend. I do not look forward to the day ever when she does it begrudgingly, where she's like, all right, it's not pretty, but I'll do it. Like I'd rather her go, oh, all right, still, yeah. Oh, yeah. How much do I bench currently? I mean, I can do, I don't know what my max is because I do it either alone or the trainer I have right now doesn't spot you. So probably 225. right now for like, 6 reps. I'll usually stay under that. I'll be like, I stay close to like 180 tops when I'm doing multiple reps and going up and down because I'm trying to add bulk and that kind of stuff. It cracked my neck at 220. No, 305. That's my deadlift. I'm like 325 for deadlift right now. My dad was never a big muscle man, but Def managed to carry me into the ER unconscious when I was a teen. Yeah, crash disaster. Well, that's part of it. Please spot, that's dangerous. Well, I use a Smith machine when I'm doing it, or I use lighter weight I know I can manage, and I use dumbbells, for example, so that I can drop them if there's a problem. I'll do 4 sets of 25 reps. Yeah, I do. I do ascending weight, descending reps. Biden tried to get a bill last week to lower gas prices, and Republicans all voted against it. They wanted High to make Biden look bad in the midterms. It's not going to change anything. It's not about him, not so much. I mean, there are little measures you can do to try to shave a couple of cents off here and there, but the major impact's going to be because of large movements in the oil markets worldwide, and that impact is coming because there's demand destruction here at home and throughout the world. Watch. It's interesting. One of the impacts of the Chinese economy cratering is all these new people with cars that won't be able to afford gas for it because they want to put it someplace else. And so the gas demand destruction that's happening in China, partly because they're trying to flex that they have more electric cars, which they don't, but also because the people who got cars aren't going to be able to run them very often, and most of the fuel will be used for trucks and stuff, and the government will kind of make them do it. That will shave a lot of the gas usage. They're using a lot of what they get for diesel generators and fuel plants and stuff. Use dumbbell and medicine ball. It's a good idea. Yesterday I was doing dumbbell up against the wall, put it on the ground, do like jump back, push up, doing that part. That was fun. And then one of those things where there's a trampoline leaning up against the wall, and you shuttle over here, shuttle back over, and catch it. It's fun. What were the Fox News ratings last night? We won't know for a month, but I don't doubt that most people were watching, even their people were watching CNN or had it on. Like, there's a lot of Fox News people that will pip their TVs just so that even when they watch CNN, they feel like they're giving numbers to Fox, that kind of stuff. It's so petty. I bench press my body weight downwards. That's hilarious. When I was young and fit, I used to go into a handstand from sitting on a chair. That's impressive. I tried a medicine ball, but it was too big to swallow. Try it as a suppository, Robert. Just sit down quicker. I have 5 screens if you count my phone. Exactly. I mean, there's a bunch of that. Tucker won't even have commercial breaks. Yeah, so they won't go to it. Check it out. Because God forbid you actually see the footage. Yes. Fox had no commercials. That's hilarious. Just in case people would switch over and take it. It didn't work. Their folks are going to watch it anyways. And again, who gives a shit what those Fox viewers do with their time? They're not going to change. And the irony is that between Lindell and Trump, they've attacked Fox so much that those people are torn all over the place about whose loyalty who they're most loyal to. So they're not gonna win over any votes or convince them or change their mind because they don't want to have their mind changed. They're gonna work actively. We electricians are referred to as Sparky by other trades. I know, Robert, and I appreciate that fact. At one point, I had a shirt in high school that had the electric caution symbol on it, the triangle with the lightning bolt, and I was like, this would be a good superhero outfit for me. but anybody who watched Fox last night was the Unreachables anyways. And there's a bunch of reachables who didn't watch any of it, who watched, Kardashians or something, but they're going to vote more than likely Democrat if they vote at all anyways. And so all Fox was doing was airing the grievances of Trump, saying the election was rigged and stolen and all that garbage, and it's going to keep them from voting. All it did was make sure there are more Republicans that give up on the idea of voting this fall. Biden support is so low, though. That's poll talk. It is zero meaning. Look at Macron. Like, it doesn't matter. And the polling isn't giving you an option in your thought. Compared to, gas prices in Europe are effectively, $16, or more than that. It would be, like $16 to $18 a gallon compared to $4 or $5 in your area. Do you think the United States can do more to fix to lower gas prices? What do you think the same people in those polls would say? Yeah, and Biden support is low because they only poll Republicans. Yeah, that's partly true as well, because you're talking about people with landlines and regular voters and that kind of stuff. And then you've got some Democrats that they're talking to who are like, he has to do more. We have to act more like Republicans do. And even Kimmel said that. Kimmel in the interview was saying, like, everybody's saying, they effectively cheat while they're in. Why don't you cheat? And like, the point is not to cheat. Otherwise, what difference does it make? Biden got a great reception on Kimmel and did a great job as well as communicating. I agree, Christina. But that was where the push came from. Hiya. Are we motivated to vote? Yeah, David is asking, are we motivated to vote, people? Are we motivated to vote? Are you ready to vote? I certainly am. Very exciting. Big polling scandal in the UK this week. I will look into that. That's fascinating to me. Yeah. Yeah, that's what Biden said on Kimmel. It's exactly right. Despite the DNC? No, along with the DNC. Man, look, if you're driving down a road and you really need to get where you're going, and one of your tires is low, you might want to fill it up at some point. But does that question your desire? Does that affect your desire to get to your destination? And would you just go, you know what, let's hop out and just take that tire off? The pressure's low in it. It's not as perky as I wish it was. Yeah, let's just jettison the tire in the middle of it so we can drive with 3 tires and 1 exposed rim. No. All hands on deck. Forget it. Like, and by the way, I'm a proud Biden voter. I'm comfortable. Yeah. That I love the dude. Because I don't have any illusions of perfection in any human being I meet, because A, it's a lie. It's egomaniacal, because nobody, when they're acting like that, would meet their own standard. No one. If you don't meet the standard that you're talking about, they should do this. They should do this. Every day they should get up and they should do this. They should do this. Do you do that every day? No. Well, then you're not even going to vote. Why the hell should I listen to you? Anybody who's getting up and doing it every day, it's like, I appreciate songwriters who write songs that I don't even like because they finished the song. They did it. Good for them. And maybe that song's not for me, and not every song has to be for me. What kind of, again, ego. We get back to that as well. Roe v. Wade and Uvalde are going to get the vote out more than anything else. I think there's something to that. Yeah. Are you worried there are Trumplicans that are baby eaters since it's all about projection with them? Makes sense. Well, I mean, you do have an element of pervy skeevy in the Republican Party that they seem to be covering for. And sometimes you cover for what you would call inbounds levels of pervy skeevy that don't involve cannibalism, that don't involve cannibalizing babies. Just your run-of-the-mill Matt Gaetz behavior, that if you can make your opponent look worse, then your stuff looks, softens the blow by comparison, maybe? Nobody is eating babies. True. Love the song you're singing now. Thank you, Turtle Dove. I knew, but I know you're from Lab Rats. You're Donald Davenport. It's true. I am. Well, I would say Donald Davenport is me. Following Joe Biden for decades, I liked him. He's true compassion. He's a great leader. I agree, Robert. I mean, like, and the idea that who's the man shown up, who's the master, I think is the phrase. Yeah. He passed, that actor passed away not too long ago, right before COVID. Very sad. I'm blitzing on his name, but I love the movie. I'm a big fan of like the soundtrack and the style of The Last Dragon on top of the sweetness of the message and the character. Because Bruce Leroy is an aspirational human being. You know, there needs to be like t-shirts. What would Bruce Leroy do? Thanks, Michelle. Yay. Yeah, anybody who's like on the fence, it doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. You're exactly why we have stuff like Uvalde. Where you're exactly why Roe v. Wade is getting gutted. Kiss my Converse. That's right. Yeah, I constantly whistle on the stream. It makes me so okay. When I usually whistle, Katie, when I'm if you're talking about literally, it's usually when things are breaking around me, and I'm like, it's fine, I'll fix it. It's gonna be better in the morning. Sorry about the crap technology on the show, but I'm doing it alone in a corner of my house, and it's growing by leaps and bounds, but I'm still doing it alone. All right. How can anyone be on the fence? I agree. Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why people can be on the fence. Because that is what the radicals on both sides serve to do. The normal movement of life, as you age and as you mature, will move you away from any kind of radical extremes, because you'll recognize the power of incremental change and the value of it, and how rare, what are technically revolutionary things are when they come along, and usually they're not something you start, and if you start them, people die. It's usually something like a new technology, or they've cured cancer. Those kind of things are what cause true revolutions that we all enjoy. The ones that people start, it usually involves a lot of murder and awful. And as you get kids and you're caring for elderly grandparents who can't run from an angry mob, you start thinking about, well, maybe we can change, but we got to tip the ball in the right direction. Right. Exactly, Nancy. We'll talk about that in a minute too. So you recognize the value of that, and you move away from the sort of radical edges of things, because it doesn't function, it doesn't work, it doesn't actually do it. Even radical moments take a long time to settle in, and often have this kind of pushback and stuff. Look at the civil rights movement, the women's suffrage. It happens in a moment, and then there's all this shakeup that goes on for a long time, and so there's people who are looking for ways to make put a cushy landing for revolutions more often than not. That's part of what adults tend to do. It's abs, exactly. Yes, a wise man once said, revolution is the 6-minute abs of democracy. That's exactly right. And it is. It's just it's like revolution TM, right? It doesn't actually mean anything. So as people, move towards like a balanced conversation where they know they disagree, but they know they have to convince somebody, so they need to have a conversation because they're not going to pummel this person. They move towards what's considered the center, and the fence are the people who are trapped in complexity, because they are surrounded by so much competing radical noise that they start to think they don't hear the centrists and moderates having a conversation. They may not even believe that exists. All they hear is this ping pong match from, baby eater, groomer, right? Like one side's either eating babies or wanting to have sex with them, and or kill them in schools or whatever. There's back and forth. So, in that back and forth, the people who sit on the fence are like, I think both these groups are crazy, thinking that the radicals actually represent the vast majority of either group. Now, in normal politics, when you talk about like liberal to conservative, that is not the fact. When it comes to the current state of the parties, however, um, the, the Republican Party, sort of went into cult status, especially under Trump, but I would say leading up to them, they decided that they can't run on the issues because they lean more towards their radical crowd ultimately, and the radicalness of their crowd is not as popular as they wished it would be, and so they're narrowcast, so they have to win by attrition in very short order, and a lot of that has to be personality based. When you do that, you have to run people that are like evangelical characters that drive people to the primaries, that disassociate people from the act of voting in certain areas because they're like, ugh, if somebody like that can even be a member of either party, something's bad. And that's what the MTGs and the Matt Gaetzes kind of run on, and it's certainly what Trump ran on. How do you stop a bad guy with a spork? Obviously, with a container of KFC mashed potatoes. Come on. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call them celebrities, WW, because that would mean they are celebrated. It's kind of like when they talk about reality stars. It's a little closer to that, because reality stars aren't celebrities. They're awarities. We're really aware they exist. We don't celebrate them. We're just sort of inundated with their existence. You know what I mean? You microwave them. I took my oath seriously and with honor, and it never expires. Exactly, Queer 58. KFC coleslaw. That'll work too. Any KFC side I think would do. You don't have KFC mashed potatoes there? What? Well then, where'd the spork come from? I have questions. Everybody needs a dose of Chero. Dun, dun, dun. All right. No, wait, blue cups only. Oops. Okay. Yeah, they're awarities. The Kardashians are awarities. We're super aware they're around. Ivanka Trump is an awarity. She's not a celebrity. She's not even a socialite because none of her old friends like her anymore. That's the other thing. You used to be able to be, if you weren't a celebrity, you could at least be a socialite, or a man about town. That's my dream gig. HAL Sparks, man about town. Just have to walk in every place and double snap. That's the rule. So, right next with my buddy Fred Garvin, male prostitute. HAL Sparks, man about town. Now I got to do little video shorts, don't I? Now I have to go to like every spot in Vegas and go, welcome to Harrah's, some of the best showrooms in the whole place, and a faint hint of poop because the sewage system doesn't really work and it's like a crashed cruise ship in the middle of the street. So says I, HAL Sparks, man about town. Did I reset? Yes. You're watching HAL Sparks Mornings Mega Worldwide, home of HAL Sparks, man about town. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show in any way that you can. If you like what I'm saying, say so. If you hate what I'm saying, say so. Because it's so funny. I don't know if you guys know this, but because we do this live, a lot of people watch my clips, but I don't encourage people to talk in the clips below or do that kind of stuff. You have to tell people, let me know in the comment section if you blah, blah, blah. Or people just don't do it. They just watch the video and move on. I don't comment in comment sections. It just feels creepy. Like occasionally you want to go, that was awesome. And since you weren't live, you're like, I want to that was cool. And I'm not going to say it. I want it to be in context. Can't say it randomly on Twitter because you won't get what I was referencing. So I'll send a statement. But getting into like long form conversations in the comment sections is sort of ridiculous. And the Jimmy Dore folks love to freak out in my comment section, and both like getting angry that I'm going after him, but in largely an empty room because we have a Discord and other places where people can actually hang on. That's very nice, Peter. It looks like I'm crushing your head, man about town. So they, they get mad at what I'm saying, but they're kind of yelling in an empty room. And then they make a thing about like, yeah, the TYT people do it too, right, Mark? They go in there like, nobody's even in here. Nobody even talks on these. Like, yeah, we got shit to do, dummy. You don't have to comment. I'm sure, again, that's another one of those things that feels manipulative to me. Don't forget to let me know in the comments below if you like these kind of videos and blah, blah, blah. Like, shut up. First of all, if you're lining up for audience capture where you only do stuff that boosts your algorithm, which is living a lie, you're not saying what you really think. And if people are coming to hear what you really think, then why the fuck are you asking them to tell you what you should think? Keep thinking and saying it. Thank you, Mr. J. Anyways, they get in there and they like yell at no one and then laugh that there's no one there. And then they write, it's so funny. They're like, nobody's in here. Like, who are you talking to? It's like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. Like, nobody could understand he would leap from a moving car. And yet that's the essence of chaos theory. Sorry, Hal, asked a question, not sure if you saw it. What is the purpose of conservatism? That would be revolutionary ideas have a downside. They, as all things do, there's pros and cons of everything, kids. And traditionally, conservatism is, look, we only have limited resources. We can't bum rush towards using it all up just because. You can argue that the green movement is a true act of conservatism in its essence. That can also apply to social movements, large wrenching social movements, especially that affect, like human stability, psychological stability, conservatism in the markets, which is, slow and steady growth in the markets which you cannot control at all. All you can do is make sure that the currency is as stable as you can make it so that the rest of the world knows what it can rely on. That's a form of conservatism that actually makes it. I was taught conservation in Boy Scouts. I was taught a functional form of conservatism. Look, we only got so much forest. Once it's gone, it's gone. And there's a bunch of people like, I got a great idea. Why don't we all drink this? I drank this stuff and it made me feel amazing. Why don't we all drink it? And you're like, okay, Jake, what's in it? I don't know. The conservative would go, hang on there, Chooky, if I may. How about we look at what's in it first and see if it's okay for everybody. And we'll start by not giving it to the kids because their brains aren't fully formed. And you seem very excitable. You've been there, right? That's the meaning of it is. And to some degree, it applies, in a broader economic sense about, the irony is that conservatism, as it's been borrowed as a phrase, much like progressivism, cuts against, it's sort of an antithetical definition in some cases, especially when they're pro-business at the expense of the environment or even a resource like oil, gas, rare earth minerals and the like, which there's only so much of it, right? There's only so much of that stuff, and we got to use it well. So you want to be, and to some degree, you can line up sort of conservatism versus liberalism based on the idea that you should be conservative with your time and liberal with your money to some degree as far as investment. Be conservative about the time you invest and liberal with the money you invest because you can get more money. You can do more work and get more money, but you can never get more time. Yeah, hey, drink this. What is it? I don't know. I found it in the lab. I'm just kidding. It's just yogurt. Real genius. Well done. Ironically, modern conservatism is the opposite of conservation. Agreed. Most of it is what they consider social conservatism, which is any social change they want to slow down because they fear it does not benefit them, and they found a devil they know. Russell Brand. I'm not actually saying this, but I'm actually saying this. Yeah, right. And they were harder on Beto O'Rourke than on the shooter. Well, again, what are you afraid of if you see a gun grab happening? And is that fear genuine, which I would argue it isn't in most cases. It's a, when a politician says we got to be able to fight our tyrannical government, they're in supposedly our tyrannical government. It's just, it's idiocy. None of them believe that. But they know their voters want to hear that. And that's what I'm fighting for, to keep these folks from coming for you. I'm your front line. If I fail, then the only thing you got, right? That's it's just absurd. So when it comes to, conservative versus liberal thought, there's a lot of, back and forth about what those mean. Honestly, like I've said, in the Democratic Party, you can have a whole conversation, conservative to liberal, in the genuine sense. What the functional parts of both of those philosophies. The Republicans it's just a manipulative brand they use now. Slava Ukraini, agreed. Evil will come, humping the flag, hold a Bible upside down, right? My friend is a lieutenant cop, voted for Trump, and has a Reagan poster in his kitchen wall, yet he has a cat. What the fuck? Yeah, the cat part doesn't surprise me. He's a conflicted dude. And the Reagan poster, I kind of understand if he's a lieutenant cop, because the issue with the Soviets. Once the Soviets died, the Russians just became another business opportunity. And so a bunch of people who used to hate Russia and hate what Russia did suddenly were like, it's the same people running the place, same ideology. We know that now. I'm still convinced, and I will, like, you can listen to what Putin says. You can listen to what the people around him say. You can look what they're saying on television right now, that this was always the plan. And so the whole idea of glass-nosed, once Putin took over, once even Yeltsin did, the people running things behind the scenes for him as he was, as he was presiding over the country for a short time and basically drinking himself into oblivion, their plan was to rope-a-dope for a while until they could build their strength back up, and then they would retake the world. That's what they're doing right now. That's what the plan is. I mean, friggin', that's why Putin referred to himself essentially as Peter the Great. I need some chip to make the morning happier. Yes, we will. I'll go get him at the end of the show. I will run over and grab him before we got another 50 minutes. So, is Putin dying? We all are. It's just time. Yes, probably. I'm kidding. Yeah, he is. He's a mess. He's definitely on, my guess would be steroids to give him like energy and vim and vigor while he's fighting whatever he's fighting, and it's making him bloat. I mean, he's not one of, it's interesting because the system over there, while it's looser around the use of nuclear weapons, because generals that are field generals, they're on the ground, he's a Regeneron, you think? He's on one of the MABs, making him even nuttier. How have you seen the reboot of Queer as Folk? No, I have not. Yeah, prednisone. Thank you, Desi. He's on prednisone and Pervitin, which is not a good mix. I'm just saying. Peter the Great or Great Peter. Well, definitely not the latter. Steroids are the last thing you need if you have cancer. Right. Well, yes, that doesn't stop them in Russia from giving them to you. Tweet the pic at HAL on Twitter. Oh, okay, and I'll take a look at it. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, there's no way he's not he's a mess, and he's not got long. Oh my gosh! Get out of that's amazing. That's hilarious. Oh my. Did he do it because he's a Trump fan or because of this? That's hilarious. Where do I perform in Vegas? We don't have a consistent place, although Nerd Halen got its first booking. If you're making plans far enough out, January of next year, we are at the M Casino here in Vegas for what we hope will be monthly or quarterly shows starting then. We're also going to try and be in one of the station casinos before then, but it's our first Vegas booking. It's far out, but it's happening. Mm-hmm. Now, oh, by the way, I have, you guys know I'm on Truth Social, and I was able to, I twerped a couple of things on Truth SoCal, um, that, let's see, where's me? Alerts, there we go. Oh, by the way, hold on. Let me show you this if I can. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see how well you can see that. You see how that says, that's my post right there. That says sensitive content. Sensitive content. This content may not be suitable for all audiences. And then you can push a button that says show content. It was the 2 pictures from Jan 6th, one of the cop being beaten up and the gallows that they built. The ones that I posted the same. Oh man, you're gonna talk to me about how like Twitter's just censoring everything, and they literally put a like it's so good. They literally put they censored me on Truth Social. I was twerped. I heard they're kicking people out for posting about Jan 6th. Yeah, I posted that on Twitter and whoop, I got Twittered. That's exactly right. I'm being basically I'm being shadow banned by Truth Social. Yeah, Truth is Russian Twitter. Yeah, it's well since my I think my because I did a bunch of pineapples and tomatoes at one point, and then I did the Russia is fucked demographic picture. And there's actually a few people on there that have hearted what I've put. So there's definitely some people on Truth Social that are there for either observational duties, where they're just either watching for a newspaper that they work for or something like that. Yeah. But I was, yeah, I could say it right here. I was censored on Truth Social for posting some pictures of Trump supporters and police officers and wood. Maybe that was the problem. Yeah. So, and by the way, like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. If you're just watching, just do it. Just hit the little subscribe button. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. I'll talk you into the stuff that costs you stuff later. I'm just going with the easy part right now. Yes, I was canceled. Cancel culture. Cancel culture. Truth is their enemy. Right. I mean, it should just be truth in air quotes. How can you discuss your personal political plan timeline, Mayor, Congress? How I know we all can help and be ready to do so. Thanks for the optimism. Absolutely, Funky. Do I have a little schematic thing on my other computer. Let me do that as a future show. Maybe next Wednesday would be good, and I can do like a little keynote presentation to show you what the deal is. Can find you can or you can't on Beth. I'm live right now. We got almost 1,000 people in the chat just on YouTube alone. And speaking of YouTube alone, we currently have. Let me see. Check this out. What's the number? What's the number? What's the number? What's the number? Number. Why is it? Oh, slow. Why is it? It's still calculating. Where am I? This is being weird. I'll reload the page. That's very strange. Channel dashboard. That's just something's down on there. I will say the 2,000 Mules special report live stream is getting a lot of play. I'm wondering if I'll get a strike because I go through the whole movie. Newsmax, by the way, is constantly hitting me with copyright attacks. Let's see. Be mine. Let's see. Yeah. And I have to say, I'm using, I mean, it's fair use. I'm on screen all the time. I'm reflecting on the news content in that. Yeah, here you go. Let's see if I can show you that. Yeah, here you go. This is what I get. I can air it, but I can't monetize it at all because they hit me with a copyright strike to keep me from making money on it. Ad revenue paid to the copyright owner. Copyright owner monetizes them for the whole segment on talking about her. They basically like took this section because this is minutes long. So you know how fast I interrupt stuff. I am not letting stuff run for minutes upon minutes, especially when it's Greg Kelly. I'm basically stopping every 2 sentences, if not every single time. Yeah, exactly, Phil. I agree. What I do is the essence of fair use. I'll have to pull down the video itself, re-upload it with a fair use thing and see if it happens again. Can't make money on something so worthless. Yeah, I mean, the irony is that the ad rev that gets put on my channel, when ads do happen, a lot of times they're right-wingers anyways, so it doesn't, like, it's money back to them. It's the same people. They're probably, how can you monetize a lie? Are you kidding me? Ask Russell Brand. Ask Jimmy Dore. I had somebody the other day go, how could you call Aaron Monte a conservative or a right-winger? He writes for The Nation. And I'm like, you're kidding, right? Yeah, tell me again tell me that Tulsi Gabbard is a true Democrat and Rand Paul's a true libertarian at this point. Dinesh the douchebag. I will not be surprised if we get hit with this, although it'll be very hard because I am commenting. It's pretty obvious that I'm breaking the whole thing down. To Lindell's credit or ignorance, he's never gone after me doing his whole movie. He still talks like nobody's ever watched the things that isn't already on the team. So I don't know that I don't think he's aware. I can't, yeah. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Hold on. Whoops. I think it's popping up. Shall we go to our trends for the day, guys? Although I'm loving talking to the chat like this. Yeah, it's trend time. Yep, look at that. We're so in line, Mark. Well done. Here you go. At least there's nothing incendiary happening this morning. Gender-affirming guidance for prepubescent children is non-invasive and includes professional support, experts say. That's an interesting... I know what they're talking about here. That's an interesting way of wording this. Watch, I'll show you what I mean. Gender-affirming guidance for prepubescent children is non-invasive, includes professional support, experts say. Okay. This is in response to posts saying that children as young as 5 can take hormones and change their sex. And this is mostly put forward by right-wingers trying to bait left-wing accounts into, we must support the children transitioning and blah, blah, blah. And also create this idea of, the groomer myth and all that kind of stuff. Basically, you boost that up. This is the same shit we heard about, like the baby eaters and adrenochrome. Right-wing and foreign accounts are always boosting the loony or radical supposed left-wing accounts to make them look like they have parity of thought with everybody else. And then there ends up being pushback. But it says Reuters Facts found that only medical guidance for children this young are non-invasive guidelines such as social transitioning. Clothing is fine, but you're not going to give a 5-year-old hormones. That's absurd. It simply is. Because a child of 5 years old may know they have a feeling about something, but that feeling may be based on a myriad of things. It might not be social, it might not be gender dysphoria. It might quite simply be that their brother or sister is getting more attention than they are, and they think if they're more like them, they will get that attention. That kind of stuff. At 5 years old, I mean, come on. That said, you have to be open to allowing your kid to grow into who they are without intentionally elbowing them that way. So that's all this is about. This is like, again, this is what happens when social movements get herky jerky. Jim Jordan, of course, is going to be testifying, I think. He's whinging about this. I'm not going to look at this. He was on Faulkner Focus. Fucking Focus. To whinge about this. So, I guess we can go, we'll watch that this afternoon. What do you say? Eek. That's hilarious. When's the primetime hearing on $5 a gallon gas? We already had it. Your party voted against protecting Americans from price gouging, right? Yeah. I mean, this is going to be his testimony is going to be fascinating because he has reason to plead the fifth, and he doesn't have executive privilege. Oh boy, I was censored on Truth Social, and as the coup plotters can't handle the truth, TFG crony Alexander has a meltdown on Truth Soldier's Jan 6 panel, convicts his boss. I don't like it when they throw my man in jail. I often look at the sky and scream, what the hell? Okay. I don't know why he's there. I've got such fabulous hair. But bro, do you MAGA at all? Oh, Truth Social, Truth Social. My account was suspended. They won't even let me post the pictures that I want to show. Oh, Truth Social, Truth Social. It's just like the Twitter, except it's a place I want to go. Hey, hey. Thank you. Lovely song, everyone. Wonderful. Blurp. Ivanka hammered. Oh, I'm having fun spreading some truth on Truth Social. Can't believe I haven't been burned at the stake yet. Oh, this person's Ivanka hammered on there. Just spoke to Daddy. I'm in tears. He said he's not running in 2024. OMG. He's just pretending so he can get more money from MAGA for all the lawsuits coming. And can he borrow $1 billion from me and Jared? I'm going to throw up. That's fun. Truth. Yike. Yeah, he did that yesterday. Playing the hits. Uh-huh. President Trump is on a retruth storm of memes. It's called twerping. You twerp and retwerp. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah, share Tina Forte's stuff. She's got a shot against AOC in that district. Right, there we go. Agreed. This is my point, by the way. And a lot of this, these numbers, these are the human beings, that voted for Trump and the rest of us. Maybe next time people will actually vote. That's what this is about. It ain't about them. They're a small and shrinking group. If they get in, if they get control, it's our fault 100%. 100%. I mean, there's no other way to say it. You either have responsibility and the ability to respond, or you don't. And the easiest ability you have to respond is voting. And if you can't be bothered to do that, then you don't really care about the things you allege to care about. Tanger a conservative, lie to him. Tanger a liberal, tell him the truth. That's Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah, it's get on Truth Social. You do realize that this is closer to the time when this is actually from before the Dixiecrats, who are the pro-slavery and pro-segregation Democrats, switched parties and became Republicans because the Democratic Party was moving too fast on equal rights for everyone. Yeah, okay. Those conservatives became those genuine conservatives he's talking about ended up being Democrats. The liberals he was talking about were, I mean, it's just a flip-flop. The Unselect Committee has learned that I, as president, suggested offered up 20,000 National Guard troops be deployed to D.C. Again, she didn't like the way it looked. You mean, what do you mean? All the states that were providing the National Guard guys that you were going to bring to D.C. were from the states that tried to overturn the election under Ken Paxton. I don't know why she didn't want them making a circle around the fucking Capitol while everybody was there to count the votes. What were they going to do? It ended up, they stopped all the Congress people from going in the building to delay the vote. Right. Fuck, get out of here. Why should, here's the weird part. Why in the world should they need 20,000 National Guard troops around the Capitol for fucking anything? Ivanka Hammered now has 9 followers on Truth Social. I'm a social media influencer. I'm going to follow the Ivanka Hammered person. Yep, they're all getting knocked off. Account banned. The hearing is another political hoax to counter inflation, etc. What is this? Is he uses decimal points, so TFG thinks 5,000 likes is 503,000. That's adorable. Yeah, it's that is exactly what's happening. They are Truth Social uses decimal points to, so TFG thinks 5,000 likes is really 503,000. Yeah, that is absolutely what they're doing, puffing up the numbers because you have to squint. Is that a comma? Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a bunch of that going around. Okay, Truth Social. That's why it's trending, obviously, and they're hashtagging it because they just want the information. It's one of those things where there used to be this joke about when they were going after like heroin dealers in the Midwest, they had like FBI undercover agents going after these heroin dealers, and they got them all. There weren't that many, and the program was so big because Nixon was so against it and stuff that they were, at one point there were just FBI agents buying and selling from each other because they'd already got everybody. The job was done, and yet they were sent there, and they're like, oh, this is so stupid. Can we go home? This, the same thing, like Truth Social is going to be one of those things where there's a bunch of people like me posting on there and a bunch of sock puppet accounts pretending to be maggots. And they're going to like, look how popular we are. Mr. Trump, the only person who calls him Mr. Trump in these situations is the news when they're referring to as, they don't want to write out former President Trump. Let's see. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, Mr. Trump. And when Michael Cohen talks about him, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump. Yeah, this footage of him was pretty hilarious. His voice is oddly deeper, and he seems more grown up than in videos past. You know how the presidency like ages everyone? It seems to have finally aged Jared as well. Yep. So, not Mr. Trump, whatever. A woman was awarded $5.2 million in settlement from insurance company Geico after contracting a sexually transmitted disease from her partner in his vehicle, which was insured by the company. That is a comprehensive policy. I didn't know Geico did health insurance. Huh? What? Wait. There's no way that stands. Like, that's going to get thrown out on appeal. That's just, a Missouri woman was awarded $5.2 million in a settlement for insurance company Geico after contracting a sexual emergency which was insured by the company. Court document showing the woman at Jackson County. There's got to be more of this. Said she contracted HPV from her partner. On Tuesday, Missouri filed an opinion confirming the initial Jackson County Circuit Court arbitration award finding against Geico. In February, the woman, anonymously identified in documents as M.O., submitted a petition to Geico directly. She alleged that her sexual partner negligently caused or contributed to cause of being infected with HPV by not taking proper precautions and neglecting to inform and or disclose his diagnosis, according to that his insurance policy provided coverage for her injuries and losses. She made a final settlement offer of $1 million to resolve her claims. In April, they denied coverage and refused her settlement offer because that's crazy. The arbitrator determined there was sexual activity in the insured automobile that directly caused or directly contributed to cause the woman being infected with HPV, despite her former partner's knowledge of his positive. What? Is this like the drunk driving of STDs? Arbitrator subsequently submitted that $5.2 million would fairly compensate the woman for damages and injuries. Geico appealed it. A three-judge panel responsible for reviewing the appeal confirmed the court's settlement decision of $5.2 million despite Geico's appeal efforts. Jesus. At the time of Geico's intervention, liability and damages have been determined by an arbiter and confirmed by the trial court. Geico had no right to relitigate those issues, the opinion said. I see. So they didn't agree with it. They just said the law currently states at the time when this article was done that they had no right. Get ready for your Geico contract to get a lot longer. The panel also wrote that Geico could have defended its interest by entering a defense of the insured individual. Geico did not take advantage of this opportunity, instead denied coverage and refused to defend the insured. Ew, because why should they? That had nothing to do with the function of the automobile. That's really weird. Like that's all right. That's the kind of litigation that ends up raising rates for everybody and all that kind of stuff. Cop who shot Patrick Lyola charged with second-degree murder. There you go. Mueller report. They're just referencing it again. Scott Perry. Cheney says Republican Scott Perry contacted the White House in the weeks after Jan 6 to seek a presidential pardon. Ooh. Multiple other Republican congressmen also sought presidential pardons for their roles in attempting to overthrow the 2020 election. Yeah. That's coming out. That's going to scare some of them into talking. Oh, and Sasha Obama turned 21 today. That's lovely. Yeah, Obama, posted. Oh my gosh. The pudding. That's so weird. Aw. Playing hide and seek in the Oval Office. I wish her all the luck and hope in the world. That can't be easy. At that age, it's the closest thing to a royalty experience that an American can have. Because you're just surrounded the rest of your life, you know? It's one thing when you're president to have adult children, you know what I mean? That or even teenagers that have to deal with it because it's only a few years and then they're on their own. But when you're that young, when it starts, that a huge chunk of your life is played out in that. An ultra luxe hotel chain is coming to Southern California. It's so exclusive, you've probably never heard of it. Yes, that's what I ultra luxe. Swiss company Aman is launching its 5th U.S. location, part of the $2 billion residential complex, one Beverly Hills, one Good Luck, affording a stay. Why? Because it's $8,000 a night or something. Some stupidness. Oh, here it is. Stay at Canyon Point, Utah starts at about $4,000 a night. Rooms at Jackson Hole, Wyoming range from a nearly $1,600 to $3,000 a night. Yeah, that's because the people who stay there, that's part of the security stuff. I mean, it's fancy inside, but there's a needle you can peg on how fancy things are. The next step becomes that who's around so you can be physically safe. Yeah. Vote Republican. Trump says Ivanka doesn't understand elections. I think it's one of the most important hearings. I don't think it will change MAGA minds, but I hope it serves the rest of us to get off our asses and save our democracy. There you go, Tom. Agreed. Oh, I see. This is why you want lower gas prices? Vote Republican. And that's the plan. That's the plan. Here's this is, by the way, this is how you know they know prices are coming down. They think they've got an edge in the election, and they think they think actually that even before the people that would be sworn in that could take over are there, even in the lame duck session, that oil is going to go down. They're going to say it's because of fear of the Republicans that were there. They'll claim credit for it, even in the state where they're not in charge yet. I'm an independent who historically voted for both parties. However, I'll never vote for a fascist, never will, which means I will never likely vote Republican again in my lifetime. A lot of independent voters like me, you do the math, you should be worried. She's right. And there's a lot of Republicans who are not going to vote at all. And anybody, it's even worse. The people are like, vote Republican. Like, a lot of people are not going to even dive in on that at all. But there is a big portion of the, like I said, the Jimmy Dore crowd that are going to, that are going to convince you that, it's not even necessary. Just let them have it. Basically, they're in the process right now of muting blunting the Democratic vote. Not even for MAGA King Trump, right? Thumbs up to support your show, and was going to say, if Trump is going to jail for all these lies, his followers and the American people, I just want to ask you. Jail practically, the chances are very slim. Huge fines and that kind of stuff, and a sentence held in abate is a strong possibility. The minute they start talking about sentencing him to actual jail, that's when you get the danger of his supporters killing people. And so to mitigate that damage and still teach him a lesson, there'll be some sort of like, he can't ever run again. He's been found guilty of this thing. He can't do business in these states, whatever the other, he can't run in these states because these states will make it, against the law for him to do so. He can't raise money because there's all kinds of stuff they'll do, which will effectively bankrupt him, which is worse. You want cheap gas prices? Move to Russia, right? Just put your head over the spigot. Yeah, he'll live in constant fear of lawsuits. Yeah, I mean, he already is. Yeah, fine, he won't pay, exactly. He won't be able to pay. That'll be the funny part, is Mr. Billionaire will be making all these appearances, or his lawyers will, on his behalf, with him in a walker looking like Harvey Weinstein, making the case that he's broke, Your Honor. He's a broken man. He's broken in every sense. No, I'm not. Shut up. I'm the greatest ever. I'm super rich. Shut up. I'm trying to convince him that you don't have any money. I have enough money to pay these. I'm just not going to do it. Shut up. That'll be one of the best parts about like Trump in any court system, yeah. But any court appearance by Trump, he'll be constantly fighting back against what his attorneys are saying. Donald Harvey Trumpston. Then watch Ivanka and the boys shiv him. Well, that's the thing, is that Ivanka and Jared have a business plan and a future, and they know they can use the Trump brand after he's dead. They are planning for the time after he passes. I don't mean that Ivanka is wanting for her dad to die or wishing for him to do so. I think she's more realistic about Don and Eric than Don and Eric are, rather. They know the Trump brand will be worth something in theory and that all brands go through a ruffle with some of the offspring, and they're basically hedging on the empire that their grandfather built. They're going to bring that back. HAL show a screenshot of Cheney yesterday. Why? Because she looks like Hillary to them because she was wearing blue. Carlito's Way, Trump style on a cold toilet, right? I think the fleeing will be very real. Yeah, there'll be a bunch of business overseas. We're dealing with our businesses overseas, so we're moving to Qatar. Yeah, $2 trillion fund for Jared. Like, there's no way they don't shave off enough of a chunk where they're fine forever. She looked great. She should. Go through lawyers like toilet paper. He's unable to keep his mouth shut. Yeah, that's Lauren Ipsum. That's what's going to happen. He's gonna fuck up his own defense in all these situations. Because when you throw yourself on the mercy of the court, you have to believe, you have to at least pretend to believe that you need mercy. Dude can't do it. He cannot appear weak in front of anyone because he knows how weak he is. Hi, Alan. Sorry, every time I think of Ireland, I think of Dave Allen at large. He's a terrible witness. He can't not confess, and he can't not bloviate. He can't stop exaggerating long enough to help himself. It's fucking beautiful. And that's why they do the depositions. They try to make sure they're not done on camera. They do them on paper, and other people write down his answers for him. And like you see all those moments where in the video depositions he's doing, you can see the shadow of his attorney basically touching the table, which tells him don't go any further. And he still can't stop. And it's even worse now because he was called into New York. Good luck to him. Yeah, that's the other thing. He'll Amber Turd it. Exactly. Except she played the victim well. She was, she knew what the role she had to play, and she cried and soured her face and spoke to the jury like she was performing and all that kind of stuff. Basically backing up her allegations with her on the stand behavior. Once they started asking her why she didn't give acting would be the word for that. Once they started they started asking her questions about why she didn't give the money she got in the other settlement or divorce or whatever to charity, like she said, to the ACLU and to Children's Cancer. She said, well, I pledged to do it. The acting there fell away because she was a little aggravated. Awful. Anyways, Trump deposition. See if I can find that. I don't know. July 15th. It's gonna be an exciting day. I don't think we'll see it for months, if not years, but it'll make them sweaty. All the posts that Trump is going to do on Truth Social, oh my God, they're going to be so bad. But because I think in the old days he might have been aware that even with Freedom of Information Act or the availability, so he might take time. Thanks, Peter. It might take a little while before we see these things. And he should know that. But I think just having to do them is going to make him so sweaty that just being on camera, having to claim executive privilege, ugh. Yeah, and the civil fraud case, so good. Because the scope is so wide in a civil fraud case. Because your meaning and your communications and your finances are all part of it. Yeah. So good. Hold on. Manhattan judge signed off on Wednesday on an agreement that calls for the Trumps to give depositions, a legal term for sworn pretrial testimony out of court. July 15th, messages seeking comment were sent to the ex-president's attorneys. State Attorney General Letitia James' office declined to comment, as did the younger Trump's attorney, Alan Futerfas. Another Trump son, Eric, gave a deposition in 2020 but declined to answer some questions. New agreement comes after a series of setbacks for Donald Trump's efforts to block James's 3-year-long investigation. James has said the probe has uncovered evidence the Trump company exaggerated the value of assets such as skyscrapers. Oh, this is so good. Here it is. Golf courses and even his Manhattan penthouse to get loans, insurance, and tax breaks for land donations. A lawyer for her office told the judge last month that evidence could support legal action against the former president and his company or both, though the attorney said no decision had been made. Oh, it's so good. They can go for criminal stuff afterwards, but they're not giving him a deal. You got to talk. See, remember, if you'll recall, the prosecutor in Philadelphia told Bill Cosby that if he just copped to the fraud claim, admitted it, he could pay the victims, and he wouldn't be charged criminally for the rape allegations against him. They made a deal with him. And then the next prosecutor didn't like the deal and prosecuted him after a deal had been made. And so he was let out of jail because he was denied his Fourth Amendment rights by the second DA who didn't honor the deal that he had made with him the first time. It was the failure was on the first DA's part, giving him the deal in the first place. But the fact that the second prosecutor didn't honor it did nothing to help the kid other than make him stay in jail for a little while, which in and of itself may have had value. Oh my gosh, who's there? Hold on, there's a cat outside the door, I think. And let's see who our guest is. Who do we have? Oh, look who it is. It's Chipple. Look who came into the room. Look who was meowing outside the door. Look who wanted to say hi. It's Chipple. Hiya, Chipple. It's Chipple. What are you doing? What were you looking for, buddy? Where's my boy? Oh, he's such a good kitty. Oh, and he loves his scratches. He loves him for it. Where's my boy? Yeah. Chipple. Yeah, he's getting to be a big boy. And he's purring. Chipple. There he is. A little visit for the morning show from Chip. Chipple. Your tuxedos weigh 17 and 21 pounds. Yeah, he's going to be big. He's a big cat. Like, he's got big legs and his head's getting bigger. He's got a big fat belly right now because he's growing, boy. We're going to have to put him on a diet at some point. But he's still growing. So he's like only like a few months old. And already he's trained. That's right. That's my boy. There you go. You got to just settle down. He just wants to lay on here. And then if you want to type anything, just go ahead. Aw, licking my hand. Chip. Chipple, my buddy. That's my boy. You okay? You having a good morning? You are? Is everything okay? I got up early and I fixed you a snack. He woke me up at 5 o'clock in the morning for breakfast, as he does, which is fine. And then I get up and I feed him, and then I go back to bed for a little while longer. And I couldn't, this morning, as you can see from my tweet record, I couldn't sleep right away. So it took me a little while, and then I had to set an alarm so I make sure I'm get up and say hi to you lovely folks. And somebody, Maddie, kept walking across me and keeping me awake. And then I fell asleep like super hard for like 25 minutes before my alarm. And when I woke up, I weighed 1,000 pounds and I was like moving in marshmallow. I was like, it was such a deep, instant REM sleep. How old is Chip? He's like 7 months now. Gosh, time flies. I don't know. How old are you, buddy? I forgot. We have to check. Man, litter boxes is cool. Yeah, I'm on Chip's time. It's Chip's world. I just live in it. Yeah. So, anyways, I was just, you know what I'm talking about when you dream really hard and your body doesn't want to move? Oh, he's not even 2 yet. No. So, thanks, Bill. By the way, if you're on Facebook, thanks very much for being here. Amongst all the trollage that happens there, it's kind of incredible. He's licking my thumb and rubbing his nose on it. That's fun. Thank you. Am I your tissue? Oh, I'm literally like the paw. I'm his paw, basically. Oh, he's snipped. Yeah, he's been broken. I don't call it fixed because you don't fix something that works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called sleep paralysis, exactly. But it's more like just because I was. Can I reset in a second? Yes. You're watching HAL Sparks Mornings, Mega Worldwide, and with me and Chip. Chip, you're chewing my thumb, dude. What is happening? You can't be that hungry. You've got a bowl of dry food upstairs. I fed you with the wet food. I did. You're a good boy. Can you? There you go. You're just chewing on me? Is that what's happening? You just want to play? Is that what you want to do? You just want to play, little man? You just want to play? You want to rough and tumble? You want to rough and tumble? You want to rough and tumble? We do a little bit of kitty wrestling on occasion. Yeah, he's like 8 or 9 months old. Yeah. He does not need a snack. He wants a snack. He doesn't need a snack. They're voting on whether or not you deserve a snack. Thanks very much. Oh, pocket pardons. Not going to happen. All nonsense. You can't get a pardon by the person who's your co-conspirator. They wouldn't be held up in court. He could pardon them for other stuff. Any of their pocket pardons could be for, lying to a judge about the election, shit like that. No, he doesn't draw blood, ever. He chews on me without ever drawing blood. It's lovely. So the pocket pardons that they were asking for from Trump for January 6th would not hold up. A pocket pardon is the idea that you don't have. It's not a public pardon. He gave them a get out of jail free card that they don't have to tell anybody they have unless it's necessary. Because sometimes you can pardon someone for something, and this would be the theory, that the general public doesn't know they did, but you think they deserve a part, or that they may be attacked for in the future, that they didn't do. But there's a concern that if people ever, if social trends started going in a certain way and people started thinking this person needs to go to jail, that they, because they get blamed for something. Think Fast and Furious. Like Obama could have given Eric Holder a pocket pardon for that if he believed that he was innocent, but may be charged for something related to it in the future unjustly. But if he said, I'm pardoning for him, I'm giving him an early pardon for it, I'm pardoning him of any action in this, it would make him look guilty and raise the specter that he might be more likely to be charged with something related to it. So you hide that part. That's the theory behind the pocket pardon. The issue that these guys had, the problem with the pocket pardon, if you pardon me, is that everybody, the ones that we're talking about, have everything to do with January 6th, and Trump was a participant, so you can't. It wouldn't work. In my opinion, if you ask for a pardon, you must be guilty. That's not necessarily true. You could also be the target of a political witch hunt or the like. I mean, think Benghazi or something like that. However, Democrats don't tend to do this. They just don't. It's a silly notion. But the idea of that is, yeah. Isn't Hal showing up? Hal DC2257 is showing up in chat. Is he blocked? I don't think so. He shouldn't be. Is he here? Give me 1 second and I'll check. Because we're almost near the end of the show. Hi, Chip. Don't. He's going to find a wire. By the way, we're at 35,536 subscribers, up 2,246 in just the last 28 days. There were times when that took us 6 months to get to. Where are you going? Get out of there. What you doing? What you doing, silly boy? Chip and Chud, as my cats, are the least jumpy cats in the world. And that's why it's dangerous. Thank you, Queer58, for being a Patreon supporter. Thank you so much. They're so comfortable. There's a danger if you have a rolling chair, you could roll over their tail. So I literally, the stool I used to do the show, yeah, I'm sorry, I've got a case here right now that I'm moving stuff around my office. The stool I used to do the show, I took the wheels off of it because I don't want to roll backwards if I'm sitting here and accidentally hit them. Yeah. Don't you have to admit your guilt to receive a pardon? Only to the party. No, you don't. The party in question has to believe that there's a mitigating reason. Normally, yes, in the court when you do it. But the thing is, the pocket pardon issue, yes. So what you're saying is, like, if you take that pardon, that pocket pardon that you're carrying around, pocketing, and then you go to, what are you doing? He's like doing this with my headphones wire right now. I really do need to get a consistent pair of wireless headphones that work with this PC. I gotta say, like, AirPods work like crazy on the Mac. When I'm doing Ecamm, it's super easy. Trying to get them to work, like, anybody got an idea for a pair of wireless headphones that connect, pair quickly and easily, and last a long time and have low latency for PC? Let me know. Send me a link on Twitter, because I've burned through. It's funny, but the best ones that work are like the cheapest crap, the Wicked Banditos. But they don't last long enough. When I'm using it, like, I don't trust them to last a whole show. Anyways, never mind. Where I was, pocket pardons. Okay, so I think, let's see. Let me pick somebody in here. So the Bose ones, Raycon. Yeah, everybody sells those, Sarah. Yeah, cheap ones. That's the other thing. Yeah. Well, like I said, tell the truck drivers headphones center. Oh, yes, right. That's a good idea, Lolima. Okay, so I'll use Lolima as an example. So I'm president of the United States, and Lolima worked in my cabinet. And we lost the election to the Lunatic Party. And I know that did you hear about MTG absolutely meltdown on the floor today about the hearings? I know she did. I'm not watching it till later because we'll probably cover it. And I give Lolima, like, I know that they're going to go after her for some, like, drummed up scandal that they created while we were in office. I know it's fake. She knows it's fake. Lolima knows it's fake. And I'm assuming Lolima's a woman. But Lolima is, and I'm like, they're going to go after Lolima. Because you did things in regard to whatever the scandal was. It's not a full scandal, but you don't deserve to go to jail for it, and it was necessary. And I don't trust the next president, because they're part of the Lunatic Party, will honor my executive privilege idea about our conversation. So I give Lolima a pardon. I pardon them for anything they may have been involved in this particular thing at that moment, starting today. The trial might not happen for a year or two, if it ever comes around. Okay? Yes, is that a pardon in your pocket, or are you just glad to free me? So Lolima, if it was known, if I went out, I'm coming out today on my final act as president, I'm going to pardon Lolima for anything that she did while we were in office. Everybody's going to go immediately guilty. Let's charge her on the state level. Let's go after that kind of stuff. And sorry, I'll go over and then I'll leave you guys to Biden speaking, because I'll get off the air in a second. If I announced it, they might put a bigger target on Lolima in this process. So they admit, yeah, and she'd admit the actions, but not the guilt. That I didn't believe that those were guilty actions while she was in office, but they might. And therefore, if they're charging her, she can go, yes, I did these things. But these things were not criminal, I believe, and neither did the president, and therefore the pardon, right? And they weren't something I was engaged with. I wasn't involved in this part of it. It was something else. We'll think Fast and Furious or something like that. And so I wrote this down as a presidential letter, folded up, and said, here, if the day ever comes, here it is. It's an official document, wrote it while I was president, signed by the president of the United States at the time, dated at that time, you're fine. Everything after this is up to you. But from everything back, you're pardoned for that. You don't have to announce it to anybody, because if you do, that would make them come after you. So just hang on would be the thing. Does that make sense? That would be the reason why you would do it that way. The problem is, if I was involved in that, if what I was pardoning Lolima for was a crime we were both involved in which case the court will just rip it up. Does that make sense? And because a lot of what they were asking for, a bunch of these idiots are asking for, I mean, Matt Gaetz was asking for like a blanket pardon for everything he could have possibly done, including, human trafficking. He didn't get it. I guarantee it. And he didn't do anything Jan 6 oriented to warrant it. He didn't put I don't think he stuck his nose out far enough for Trump to give it to him, right? He's just counting on the Trump crowd to keep him afloat. But that's how it worked, essentially, if that makes sense. Does that clarify the pocket pardon thing and how they might work, if they work at all? The reason they won't work for Trump is specifically because they deal with a crime he was a participant in. I stand with Lolima, as do I. You need to find out why I can't see DT. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, so let's go into here. Live. It's, I guarantee it's nothing on my end, I will say. Let me check into the chat situation and see if there's any, let's see. Participants. DC. Yeah, okay. So DC, DC 2257. I do see them. Could be a restream issue. Oh, they might not be. Oh, I see. They're not showing up in the other chat. I see. In like the cross chat. So they're not going to show up right now in the, I don't know why. So I'm going to go with YouTube glitch, or they're messing around with restream. Has been invisible for years. I see. In the main chat. And well, yeah, they won't show up in the chat on Twitch, for example, or any of the crossovers. Oh, on the blue screen. I see. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They're not in this chat. I'll show you. Let me fix something. How about this? I'll show you what it like here. Sometimes, and I don't know if this is consistent or what, but and I got to drag this down. And drag this over. Do a little bit of this business. This is I put the normally this is the YouTube chat, for example, which would be a great time, by the way, to super chat right now, because everyone would notice. The chat comments of DC2 are executed from display in the window, so it is a restream. Yes, they the crossover, I don't know why it would miss. I don't know what the subcategory thing is, but there they are. I'm invisible on your screen. Yes, now you're visible, DC2257. Hello. Yeah, the chat I throw up is an aggregate with Restream. I don't know, it has issues and whatnot. So everybody say hello to DC2257 and know that I can see you in the YouTube chat that I have over here that I keep an eye on in case anything that doesn't show up. You got ratioed, right? Yeah, the Restream combines the platforms, and it is what's the word? Imperfect. So I'm going to let you guys go so you can go, because we're at the end of the show anyways. And I will see you guys this afternoon, and we'll have plenty of like hair on fire flippage about the response to the Jan 6 committee from MTG and all those crowd. It will be just a joy to see. And thank you, Candy. There you go. Working from home today, so I saved on gas without the 3-mile commute. That's lovely. I'm glad you can work from home. That's nice. It's been interesting for me working from home. This is kind of a new period in my life because I've been on the road a large portion of my life, and when I do television shows in particular, with the exception of Lab Rats, I have largely had to move, in the case of Queer as Folk, out of the country. So it's, I keep my fingers crossed that I'm going to get a cop drama that shoots in Chicago. A boy can dream, can he? Thank you, Aaron. There you go. Look at that. And you get double points because the the little icon comes up, I should probably move that, the alert box. That one's not on. Where's the alert box? There it is. This guy. I should probably move this where it can be seen when it happens. There you go. For coffee. Thanks. I do need coffee. I was very tired this morning. It was rough. Kapow. Gazpacho time. Yes, we're going to do a bunch of that stuff. Tucker Carlson commented, "Gah." Well, you know, it's the Tucker Carlson trying to say black people gag that I just started doing spontaneously. It has all the makings of a regular thing, because I don't think that's going to change with him anytime soon. I think one of the things that it was shocking, it was so blatant and shocking to me that the people that he was isolating and saying, here's the bad people, were all black, like 5 black people. I think one white person, right? And it was Liz Cheney. You know, but Democrats, understand, Democrats are black, heck, and dangerous. And I'm curious. I don't watch a lot of him. I'm curious if that's a regular thing. Yeah. Chip, where you going? What are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? We gotta say bye to the people. Gotta bye to the people. Gotta say bye to the people. Bye, people. Bye, people. Bye, people. We'll see you guys later. Thank you, little girl. Like and subscribe, or this cat dies. I'm kidding. Okay, take care, and I will see you guys later. Have a great day.